I'm a little bit over the okay. Mhm. And game capture. There you go. Be a bit bigger. Mm, no. Okay. Okay. Hello. Hi, Slim. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. That's your soft voice. Yes. I hope I can help you fall asleep. Okay. Anyway, lunchtime has finally arrived. Young gleefully announced the beginning of lunch. Oh ho ho ho. Lunchtime at last. Someone here will have to play the punishment game, yes? Oh, the punishment this time, it's a little scary, so... Sorry, but Rena went all out on making her bento. In Rena's case, I don't think she'd lose even if she wasn't taking it seriously. Meep. We tried our hardest too. Satoko and Rika-chan made separate lunches today? Usually you have the same bento, but that won't do for the showdown today, will it? Hope you're enjoying yourself there, Slim. Yes, it's quite alright. Rika and I made sure to make separate ones. Wow, Satsuko-chan and Rika-chan both tried really hard. How exciting. What's a little surprising is that Kei-chan was able to make a bento. Good job, Kei-chan. It looks like you really can do it if you try. I scratched my head and gave her a dry smile. My bento today had been made entirely by Satsuko last night. It had none of my personality. So there wasn't anything there that they could praise me for. What does Kei-chikun's bento look like? Oh, I want to see. Don't expect too much. It's just the leftover rice and side dishes from last night. Leftovers are the foundation of bentos. Oh ho ho. Now we'll know your dinner last night too. We'll kill two birds with one stone. Was it really better to hide the fact that Satsuko came over and made dinner last night? Well, of course it was. If I revealed that I didn't make my own bento, I'd be sure to end up playing the punishment game. Today's punishment game was to stand right in front of the curry Curry Maniac Chie Sensei and say bad things about curry. It wasn't too different from telling someone to jump out of a 100-story window. It was exactly the same as telling someone to die. But Ni-chan, how will we decide who wins and who loses the bento showdown? Keiichi-kun made his own too, so maybe we should call it a draw for today? We could do that. The punishment game yesterday was sort of a whip to encourage Keiichi-san to cook for himself after all. And Keiichi made his own food too, so it's a draw. A simple bento with last night's leftovers could have never stood up to everyone else's bento that they made to win. I fully understood Satoko and Rika-chan's concern for me as they tried to end the showdown peacefully. However, the club president Neon Sonozaki would never be convinced by something like that. I wonder why you're all so optimistic. Leaving one of our own showdowns in such a gray area is out of the question. Now that we've clashed, we must settle the score. Reconciling with a draw only happens in the Yakuza world. I knew you'd say that. There's no way you'd end it that way with your battle lust. This was bad. At this rate, I was sure to be the sole loser. But, well, I didn't make this bento after all. Maybe I need to resign myself to my inevitable loss. Okay, Ni. How are we going to decide who wins? It won't be fair if we grade each other's. Let's do an open judgment. Hello, Cha-Cha. Hi, welcome to the stream. It's been a while. How are you? Okay, everyone. Assemble. Neon commanded everyone, who had just started eating, using her club president voice. Come and judge our 5 bento. Write your favorite 3 on a piece of paper and submit it. Understand? Everyone in the class was used to being dragged into Mion's club activities. Yeah. Came the energetic voices from here and there. Everybody already knew that the showdown this time involved an utterly fatal punishment game. And they were all very interested in what would happen to whoever lost. Of course, they wanted the thrill of seeing something terrifying. Okay, everyone ready? Hello, car. Then I'll go first, alright? Ta-da! In an exaggerated fashion, Mion pulled the lid off her multi-tiered ornate bento box. Multiple cheers of joy erupted at the brilliant sight. That's amazing. It's just like New Year's food. It can't be. It has to be a lie. She must have switched the contents. With the catered bento. Such purely Japanese cooking. Mion. Mion Sonozaki couldn't possibly make this. Nope, it's easy for Mi-chan if she gets serious. She almost never gets serious, though. Kukuku. Just who do you think this old man is? Given enough time and ingredients, I could even reproduce the Manchu Han Imperial Feast. The entire classroom gulped audibly. And everyone wrote a score down on the notepaper in their hands simultaneously. It made sense. Just the visual impact would give her a perfect score. Alright, let's see Rena's next. Rena's really good at cooking too. Rena's bento is always like a flower arrangement. Thanks everyone. I'll reveal my bento now. Rena's bento was a beautiful mix of the two colors of eggs and mincemeat, and it too was a bento staple. The Soboro bento. She had been thorough with the side dishes as well, and they were abundant in number. She had spent more time than usual on it, but it was unassuming and truly nonchalant. One couldn't ignore the household warmth on it that Mion's bento lacked. If I may say, you've done it again. This should get quite a high score. I should have known. It may look rigid, but there isn't anything to deduct points from. Amazing as always. Once again, every one of the judges wrote a score on their notepaper at the same time. There seemed to be some who were revising their opinions when they compared it to Mion's score too. The whole classroom seemed split between Mion and Rena. And on everyone's face it was clear that they all wanted to be tasting them rather than scoring them. Then we'll be next. Yes. I'll now reveal 9. Come to think of it, Satoko and Rika-chan ate with me last night at my house. It was impressive that they still made a bento. Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Rena's perfection. However, because of that, you could sense from them how hard they worked. The toppings were a little on the rough side, but you could still feel that they tried their best. It made you feel a little biased, so you'd give them more points. A few people struck by that once again revised their opinions and wrote in scores on their notepaper. Satoko, Rika-chan, you both made really good bentos today. They might not measure up to Rena and Mion's craftsmanship, but when you think about that, they're pretty amazing. Satoko and Rika-chan glanced at each other and grinned happily. This is a secret, okay? What? When Satoko told me, I broke off from the others and secretly looked for my classmates' bento boxes. There, Tomitake-kun and Okuma-kun's bento boxes. I took a sneak peek inside and, half of the contents were missing. Not bad. In the end, Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't made bento today. A bold move. They got Tomita-kun and Okuma-kun to share their bentos with them. Hey, Tomita-kun, Okuma-kun, how did they buy you out? Oh, what are you saying, Mibara-san? When did we get bought out, and for what? That's right. It's not like we traded them our duty watering the garden for half our bentos. Curse you, Satoko. What an impotent trick. Satsuko grinned, showing her fangs like canines, and laughed in triumph. Oh, this is only something I learned from you, Keiichi-san. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yes. Oh, ho, ho. How naive. Buying them out with only watering duty alone. Or man, if you're going to buy them out, you need to use something a lot spicier than that. For example, as I was lost in my wild fantasies, Mion clapped me on the shoulders and called me back to reality. Damn it, was just getting good. Alright, next up is Kei-chan's bento. We're all hoping for something pretty great because of our declaration yesterday, but how did it really turn out? Keiichi-kun can do it if he wants to. Rena was really excited for today. They're all looking forward to it. But it's really just leftovers from dinner last night. I didn't even make it either. How was that supposed to stand up to Mion and Rena and the others? Ugh, that's it. Feast your eyes on this. Ugh. I tore the lid off my bento box. There weren't very many cheers. Well, I guess there wouldn't be. Keiichi-kun, you tried your hardest too. Rena can tell how hard you worked. Rena, don't feel like you need to compliment me. Hello, radio, how are you? Good evening. Good? Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing good, yeah. How did this happen? Was Keiichi-san actually a hard worker after all? Well, I mean, I want to acknowledge how hard you tried, but for this showdown, it doesn't matter. Mion's cold, mean laugh. It was like it spoke for everyone's opinion, just like that. Keiichi did really try considering it was his first challenge, you know? I think maybe everyone should rate his a little higher. But for the showdown, it doesn't matter. Alright, Kei-chan. If you have any last words before we tally up the results, I'll listen to them now. What do you mean by last words? I mean that you might be hoping for a few extra points if you appeal somehow to the crowd. After all, for today's showdown, you just need to avoid coming in last. If you do well enough, then maybe you'll be able to warm out of the punishment game. Are you implying that Keiichi-san's bento is going to take last place, aren't you? No, this old man wasn't trying to say anyone's bento came in last or anything. Mion cackled repulsively. In contrast, Satsuko's smile was growing somehow awkward. Alright. This bento was filled with last night's side dishes. It means it was basically a bento that Satsuko made. And Mion outright said it would come in last place. Nii-chan, aren't you being a little mean? Poor Keiichi-kun. Rena. Keiichi-kun knew he couldn't lose today's bento showdown beforehand, didn't he? He did all that grandstanding yesterday. Well aware of that. Don't think there's any reason to go... I don't think there's any reason to go easy on him, do you? Right, Satsuko? Yes. You are right. And he came here with... with this mess. It makes me laugh. Wait, Satsuko-chan. You can't laugh at him. But that bento is just so ridiculous, I can't help but laugh. And these childish dishes look like they were bought from a shop. It's really disillusioning. Look, this one was just taken out of a can, wasn't it? The cucumber here isn't cut cleanly, like the knife didn't go all the way through. Kei-chan, you've never used a knife, did you? Your lack of experience is apparent. No, this goes beyond a simple lack of experience. The presentation is fairly monotonous as well. It's almost a shock to see such a lack of taste. It was my first experience putting food into a bento box, so of course it's not going to look too good. Kei-chan, Kei-chan. There's a bigger problem than how you put it into the box. Tomita Okumura, explain please. Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun were chosen from our many underclassmen. Tomita-kun quickly adjusted his glasses and took a step forward. The fatal flaw in Meibara's bento is the coloration. As you know, there are 3 primary colors forming the basis of all colors. So if you want a well-balanced color scheme, then excluding white and black, you need those 3 colors. And, nevertheless, if you removed white and black from Meibara's bento, all that would be left is dark green. Ah, dark green. No one will want to eat it if you describe it like that. I had forgotten. Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun had been bought out by Rika-chan and Satsuko, so they were trying their hardest to let them win and make me lose, weren't they? What strong wills they have. It was charming, if only because they were working so hard despite being bought out. The side dishes have no spirit in them either. They're all pre-packaged or canned food. And in other words, out of the 3 necessary requirements for a bento, love, spirit, and taste, we can assert that Meibara's bento is lacking in 2 of these. In the classroom, convinced by the elucidation of the mystery they were thoroughly baffled with, raised mysterious groans of admiration. No heart and no spirit. It's decided then. Keiichi Meibara. This may sound cold, but if you realized how much fun cooking is because of all this, Keiichi-kun, isn't that enough? Enough? In any case, everything is fine as long as I'm not doing the punishment game. Rona was giving a dry smile as well. Oh, it's been settled, Keiichi-san. You're going to be the one doing the punishment game. Oh. She laughed in such a vile manner, but she didn't look like she meant it. I knew that Satoko was speaking ill of a bento that she practically made herself, in front of the whole classroom, and I could tell how painful that laughter was. Okumura-kun said before that this bento lacks spirit. But among all the bento laid out here today, there wasn't a single one with as much spirit as this one. This meal that she had made for me yesterday, in such a good mood, though it looked like she was in a bad one. I won't let it end with this slander. Ah then, you're too good for an evil laugh. Mwahahahaha. Ah then, last place, Keiichi-san. Please admit your honest defeat already. Could you wait just a moment? When I began to speak in a low voice, the expressions of all the members of the club changed. Mion clicked her tongue. This man was baring his fangs at the last moment again. My bento was defeated because it lacked spirit. That's how you explained it. Am I wrong, Okumura-kun? Okumura-kun, who had suddenly been placed in the spotlight, looked flustered for a moment, but immediately he stammered out in reply that I was right. How do you measure spirit? By difficulty? By effort? By sweat or tears? By its manifestation? How would you rate these burns that are still on my hands? Ah, Keiichi. And are those oil burns? Great, the burns from when I almost caused a fire yesterday looked like I was having a ton of trouble cooking. I could clearly tell that the classroom was forced to acknowledge the effort I put in. I see. Thank you for subscribing.
I got in an accident, hit and run, Toyota Corolla sideswiped me and ran, got caught by cops.
Oh no, are you okay? Thanks for resubscribing, I hope you're okay. It's a good thing they caught the person though. Ah, that's scary. Where was I? To turn your failures at cooking due to a lack of skill into scars of hard work instead. As I thought, I cannot falter around this man. That's right. Just a few dents on my end. I go knee now though, very EP. Alright, well, I guess good thing it wasn't too bad. Sleep well, Madden. Mwah. As I thought, I cannot falter around this man. That's right, I lack skill. I'm so bad at cooking that my grandstanding yesterday was pitiful. But I didn't run away. I fought and delivered these results. Is that not spirit? What do you think? Rena wants to acknowledge it. Nobody can keep on going if their defiant spirit doesn't get valued. The girls in the class started to nod in agreement. Okay, the tables are turning. But Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun, brought out by the objects of their unrequited affection, weren't about to lose either. They shifted to the counterattack, clearly exceeding the price they were paid. I see. I understand your feelings, Meibara-san. However, if spirit is all that mattered in cooking, the world wouldn't need chefs. That's right. If a chef bought you a burnt steak and said they put their spirit into it and tried hard, would you pay them? You wouldn't, would you? It's the same thing. That's right, that's how it goes. The male students took Tomita and Nukkunuku inside. They did have a point. What about consideration? Even if you did get a totally black steak, if you knew how much the mother made it struggled. If I knew how much the mother who made it struggled, I would eat it. Yeah, I guess so. I would eat it all. Clap, 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 clap. This time, the female students in the class took my side. Good. Now we're even. Besides, a bento is a refinement of one's love in given form. It only means something when the other person feels that way. Does your bento make us feel that way, Meibara-san? No, it doesn't make me feel that way. You're mean. The girls in the class began to boo loudly at this remark. Now even Okumura-san was panicking. Order, order. Will the spectators please refrain from making remarks? Your Honor, in order to prove how much of my spirit has gone into this bento, I call Miss Ryugu Rena, an authority of the culinary arts, to the stand. Rena thinks this bento has spirit in it. It might be rather artless in places, but I think cooking isn't just about outward appearances. The girls in the class again gave cries of support as they all applauded. In response, all the men in the class began to boo. Your Honor, the opinions of Meibara-san and Ryugu-san are extremely sentimental and aren't following with common sense. They are unsuitable to use as evidence. Order, order. The prosecution's objection is sustained. Go ahead. Let's replace the bento in question with a birthday present, for example. Let's say for my birthday, I, Tomita, received a hand-knitted sweater. And he, Okumura, could receive the bookstore certificate for 10,000 yen. Well, 10,000 yen in like 1950s, 1970s money? That'll definitely go far. It felt strangely real. Was that actually just an example? Common sense dictates which one of them has the spirit. It is of course the hand-knitted sweater. If we went back to the bento, this would be handmade side dishes. A gift certificate, which is nothing more than money, allows you to buy things. In other words, it's the same as simple, meaningless canned goods. Murmur, 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 murmur. You made the rice, and the soup is homemade though. The boys and all the girls began to argue amongst themselves about presents. They were all talking about what they had received as presents in the past. Damn. Tomita-kun, you changed the subject to something that could easily grab everyone's attention. Not bad. I'll lose the initiative at this rate. Objection. This matter regards the spirit put onto the bento. It's entirely different from birthday presents, as they are each unique situations. Overruled. Will the prosecution please continue? Damn. Well then, what's important is that there's the fact that the spirit of the giver and the spirit of the receiver are totally different. Between the handmade sweater that looks a little bit askew and the 10,000 yen bookstore certificate placed before your very eyes, which would you say is the better choice? The gift certificate, right? It's 10,000 yen. 10,000. Can you calculate how many comic books you can buy with that? You can instantly complete a full collection that, if it was around 10 volumes long, dozens of happy, humorous, slightly perverted manga. The bliss of your soothed heart can't be compared to the sweater. The boys unanimously praised that with applause. Materialistic brats. Ugh. But all guys at that age are like that. Even I would choose a gift certificate over a sweater in that case. I would probably pick the gift certificate too. Although, I don't know, I do like comfy clothes. Is the sweater oversized? If it's like a really, really fluffy, oversized sweater, then maybe. I might have a hard time picking between the two. Hey, wait, aren't you guys the one who said it was about love, spirit, and taste right at the start? Since when did taste trump all? That's the stance they're taking right now. I believe this has demonstrated that the spirit of the giver and the spirit of the receiver have no casual relationship. Yes, no matter how much Mibara-san struggled to make this bento. That cannot enter into consideration for the rest of us on the receiving end. Mere sophistry, Tomita-kun. It has plenty spirit. Whether that gets through or not is the receiver's problem. That's right. Boo. Taste is most important. Enemy of women. What was that, ugly? And now the courtroom is in chaos. But I can't allow myself to lose. And not only to avoid the punishment game, but also to protect Satsuko's honor. Now then, do the defendants have a response to give? Slowly and strongly, I nod and step up to the dais. Tomita-kun, Okumura-kun, do you really think you can beat me with mere words? It's like you never left. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? The prosecution just said we should value the gift without basing it on the spirit of the giver. Hi, hello Beck, how are you? Correct? How many days do you do double streams? Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Yeah. At some point, I began speaking formally. Yes, that's right. No matter how much you labor to make that bento, that labor should not factor into our grading. Took a shower, got my oatmeal with bananas. Sounds nice. Then I have a question for the prosecution. Mibara, if I, Mibara, were to take the bento I made for today and place it beside one bought from the store, would both of these be given the same score? prosecution hesitated to speak. Got you. That's right. Convenience store bento doesn't even come close to a homemade one. No matter how badly made it is, it has far more spirit than a bento that you just bought would never have. You see, that spirit is being graded, meaning the spirit of the cook who put into the bento has already reached the recipients. Admit it. Oh. With those impactful words drawn in the air behind me, I pointed my finger. The girls, led by Rena, broke into applause. Some of the boys were admitting it too. I'll admit it. You admitted it? You admitted it, right? Then, let's move to why a convenience store bento has no spirit in it. What exactly is the spirit in a bento in the first place? Objection. My bar-san is trying to deceive the court by using abstract expressions. Objection overruled. This sounds interesting, so listen until he's done. Got them? Now I'll show you the difference between us. Your Honor, I'd like to call Miss Rika Furude to the stand as a witness. Meep. Even for Rika-chan, that must have seemed like a bolt out of the blue. There's no doubt that she never dreamed the point of my spear would be aiming at her. But Rika-chan, you said it before, for this showdown, it doesn't matter. Rika Furude-san, your bento today was very well made. It looks delicious. Meep? Yes, Setsuko and Rika-chan's bento had been made half of Tomita-kun's and Okumura-kun's. The prosecutors' faces turned pale, but they were too late. Rena, could you bring Okumura-kun's bento over here? Huh? Okay, sure. Your Honor, my bento has no relevance to this case. Overruled. Your Honor, I submit Okumura-kun's bento box as evidence. Look at it. Look what's inside. There's only half in there. It's not about whether there's half. Please look a little more closely. See? They're exactly the same. Your Honor, you've seen it. Miss Rika Furude's bento is stolen from Okumura-kun's. There's no way such a thing could have spirit in it. No, that's just a coincidence. It's already obvious. Spirit is a game of catch between the giver and the receiver. The bento box, then, is the ball. That bento box is something Okumura-kun was given from mother to son. That means Okumura-kun is the only one who can feel the spirit from this bento box. Now that it's been distributed and been stolen, it no longer has that spirit. Dun dun dun! I love how seriously they're taking this. Yay, that did it. Huh? What? Is that true? Rika-chan, is that true? Meep. Nipa. I see how it is. Mion. The judge folded her arms and began to hum. I couldn't even take a guess as to what Mion was laughing about. Frankly, I didn't know whether I would win or lose. Okay. Before announcing my judgment, I'll start from the top. The entire classroom quieted. First, from a objective standpoint, there is no doubt that the bento of the accused, Keiichi Maebara, must have been must be seen as poorly made. This is something that the grading results clearly display. Ugh. But, as Kate-chan said, cooking is not all about taste. The spirit put into it should be considered subtle seasoning. For grading, though, that would only amount to a few points. It's so subtle that it's not enough to alter the results. Now then, I'd like to mention the original reason for today's bento showdown. What was the real reason for it? That's right. We started to see whether the accused, Keiichi Maebara, could cook for himself, and to measure the result. Yeah, that's right. Keiichi-kun didn't make his own bento. Ugh. That stung my conscience a bit, but for the showdown, it didn't matter. So the whole basis behind the showdown was to cook a meal for yourself. In other words, whether or not the meal was homemade. Rika-chan neglecting to do that is a much bigger problem than how good her bento is. In other words, is she disqualified? Nipa! Rika-chan let out a nipa, looking as though she had prepared herself for this outcome. Don't take it personally, Rika-chan. At our club, things like that don't matter. Keiichi did well, like I thought. You tried your hardest until the very end. Rika-chan demanded I lower my head, and she pet it. With that over with, this case is closed. Today's last place goes to Rika Furude. Oh, that miraculous turnaround. And last place went to Rika-chan, the one everyone had least expected. The whole classroom went wild. I'm amazed you managed to avoid coming in last place with such a terrible bento. Atsuka looked at me hatefully, but spoke in a vague kind of voice. There's no way I'd come in last. There's nothing in this bento that would deserve last place. But, it's got ready-made side dishes and canned goods and has no style and... Grab. Atsuka was speaking more poorly. Satsuko was speaking more and more poorly of herself as time went on, so I roughly grabbed her head and began to stroke it. I told you. Spirit is important. This bento isn't all about appearance. It's got all kinds of flavors in it. But spirit isn't the only thing. It tastes totally weird, and what about this is weird? I thought it was great. It was absolutely great. That's why I backed it. If dinner last night had been bad, I would have never brought it to school. I would have come over here with bread and a milk carton. But... I'll just shut up already. I caressed her head, swinging it from side to side. At some point, Rena had come up behind us. She was giggling to herself. That was the face of someone who had known everything from the beginning. When did you realize I hadn't made it? When you showed us your burns, I guess? I mean, there's nothing in your bento that you needed oil for. Rena is... She might seem ditzy, but she is very sharp. She's a smart girl. Rena-san, don't you think you're misunderstanding something? I didn't do anything. Huh? Satsuko-chan, you weren't the one who made this bento? That indicates he can make it himself after all? Okay. And I guess he did. Rena smiled roguishly and turned from Satsuko to me. When you cut cucumbers, you hold the knife like this and go like this. As for the colors, you can express all sorts of things if you place the vegetables the right way. The lecture was clearly not meant for me. But you've gotten a lot better since the last time you showed us. I see you've been studying. If you keep this up, you'll be able to make better and better dishes in no time. She continued saying words clearly meant for Satsuko while facing me instead. Satsuko was wearing an ambiguous look, and couldn't even nod her head at her. Anyway, no matter what anyone says, I like the way my bento is today. I'm not gonna share it with anyone else either. I'll eat the whole thing by myself. Wow, how greedy. Rena wants to try some too. As we were going back and forth, Sadako rubbed her eyes as though she was drowsy, then announced to Mion and everyone else. Excuse me, the truth is... Good night, sweet co. Good night, radio. Sleep well. I got Tomi... Thanks for your service. Thanks for stopping by. I got Tomita-san to give me some of his bento. Stupid. Hojo, what are you saying? If she'd kept it a secret, then at least she would have been saved. Tomita-kun looked at her with an expression filled with regret and surprise. Huh? Is that true? Really? Oh my. Mion spun her finger around and pointed to the hallway, sentencing Satsuko to the punishment game as well. Satsuko left the classroom behind her, completely prepared as though she was going with Rika-chan on an errand. I can't let Rika go alone. I will accompany her to the very depths of hell. Aw, besties. You don't need to go that far. My word, Keiichi-san really is terrible too. Humiliating only Rika like that. He truly is a rotten person. I didn't mean... I couldn't just return Satsuko's kindness with malice. Hey, Satsuko really is silly. Rika-chan spoke that so only I could hear, grinning happily. Now then, let us be off, Rika. Punishment games are one of our duties as club members. Satsuko seemed to be awfully happy, not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she lost. Damn. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron. Mion, I'll come clean too. I didn't make my bento today. I was the same, so I'm going with them. For the punishment game. Huh? Even you, Kei-chan? What's going on? Good luck. With the punishment game, I mean. I'll get the first aid kit ready. Call an ambulance in advance, will you? And maybe a hearse, just in case. Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happily smiling Rena behind in the classroom, I went into the hallway. Well, what are you doing? You finally won for once. I had no idea you had such an odd taste for these punishment games that you'd go so far as to volunteer yourself for one. I guess so. It's a little much for a hobby, huh? I swear. I think you're underestimating this one. We're one thing. We're one thing, but grave harm might actually befall you, Kate. We're one thing, but grave harm might actually befall you, Keiichi-san. I hope you're ready to have 1 or 2 ribs broken. Ugh, that sounds like it would hurt. I don't like getting hurt. Oh, so far... What deaths has Keiichi died in this series so far? Okay, first he clawed out his own throat. Second was being... Okay, it wasn't really clear how Mion / Shion killed him in the second game, but... He has died twice so far. Maybe he'll survive in this game. Keiichi-san, you just stand there and nod along, okay? Rena and I will smooth it over. I swear. Can't believe I have to look after you, even during a punishment game. Seriously. I already knew that her pouty behavior was a sign that she was actually in a really good mood. So it made me want to smile. Hey. I do want to eat some vegetable stir-fry. Satsuko, can you make that? What? Well, there's nothing I can't do if I put my mind to it. She can make it very well. I really like Satsuko's stir-fry. She was uneasy at first, but once she got reassurance from Mika-chan, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident eyes. It's settled then. Let's go shopping for stuff after school today. I don't really have any idea what to buy after all. That's true, isn't it? I think it's still too early for you to go shopping at the supermarket, Keiichi-san. It would make me anxious if I wasn't watching. And so Satsuko makes me anxious. That she'll buy the wrong thing if I'm not watching. Rika! Beep! The conversation continued as we walked, until we arrived at the door to the teacher's lounge. Okay, let's get this punishment game over with and discuss the menu for tonight. Meep! Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Satsuko to me, grabbing her shoulder with my other hand. We'll all be together in death. I won't let anyone die alone. We're all together. I won't let anybody die alone. What an indiscreet thing to say. I want no part of something so disturbing. She may have sounded annoyed. She was so happy she was gonna make me blush. Alright. Just beyond this door is a world after death. However, we shall return. All of us will. Yes, everyone will. Then, let us sally forth. Slam. We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Jay-sensei was eating curry for lunch. It was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brand every day. Oh, she has a model now. Well, character art. She's cute. Oh my. Mebara-kun, Furude-san, and Hocha-san. Is something the matter? She appeared to be in the middle of a movement of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. And we were here to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it is what we had to do. For that was the rule of our club. The three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more. Alright, let's do this. Ready? What do you mean ready? Keiichi-san You're going to stay quiet. Rika and I will handle everything. Entrust your life to me for now. Go for it, yay. What are y'all doing? I could see 2 or 3 question marks popping above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko. This is the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. I'm leaving it to you. Satoko inhaled deeply, and so... Hey, you over there. You curry... In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Sadako muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Rika-chan didn't come with us. She said she had things she wanted to do or something. I believed her when she told me, but when I really thought about it, I started to think that maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. Without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more loquacious than ever. Do you understand? Supermarkets will put things on sale when it gets nearer to closing time. For example, you can't have stir fry without some pork, and if you wait a little longer, it'll be marked half off. They can't sell meat or fish once it's not fresh anymore, so they make it all cheaper and a last-ditch effort not to have anything left over. Of course, every veteran housewife is familiar with this concept, and we get close to happy hour, when we are now. And I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me this all quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised about something, or made an affirmative grunt in place of conversation, Satsuko would say something like, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" and smile very happily in spite of her complaint. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after the other. Oh, she's so cute. He's like a big brother to her. I sure hope nothing horrible happens. Surely they are not doomed by the plot. She was in such a supreme mood that just being with her cheered me up. Merely being pulled into Satsuko's pace was a lot of fun. Hey, why don't we just go with this economy size pack? Oh, there's a real good looking one with cheese in it over there. Casey-san, you have no financial sense. Look at this. It's over our budget. We don't have enough money. Satsuko pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Pfft. Why can't Satsuko do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school? Drat. We could buy a load of the normal ones, or fewer of the better stuff with cheese in it. This is quite troubling. Calm down. For boys your age, it's wiser to choose quantity over quality. Whereas Satsuko, you're being too strict. A man's heart desires both quality and quantity. Can't you understand that? No matter the size of a man's heart, his wallet won't be any bigger. I swear. Hey, stop clinging to the glass so stubbornly. After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place. Oh no. If you don't hurry, all the half-off pork will be gone. Ow. Don't pull me. Don't pull on my neck. Satsuko really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who grabbed her family's hand while running towards an amusement park attraction. In the end, the bag of pork we obtained was so normal it almost hurt, but I knew it would taste absolutely delicious. The cicadas had come out at some point, and the Higurashi were singing in chorus. The air was so clear, and it felt so good. Our silhouettes stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful picture. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy and made me feel really happy in return. Going shopping for dinner seems pretty sensible too. It makes you really enjoy your meals and can't wait to eat. It's part of cooking for yourself as well. Dinner starts while you're shopping for him. Damn, I catched an early stream. Welcome, Light. How are you? I'm so excited for this. The vegetable stir-fry isn't even in my mom's cookbook. I never get to eat it unless we go to a Chinese place, so I'm really looking forward to it today. Just doing errands in the dead of night. Yeah? I guess I can keep you company while you do that. That indeed is a pity. And today I will present you with an especially tasty dish. Normally, right about now, was the time I would start messing with her. But I didn't. Yeah. I bet you'll end up making something really great. So I'm looking forward to it. She stammered for a second. Satsuko had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then too, so when it didn't come, she was surprised. Or maybe she stammered for some other reason. I don't know. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad. Yes, I'll deliver an extraordinarily delectable dish. You'd better look forward to it. As Satsuko and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have flashed back at Satsuko right away if she had said something to me. Yeah, that was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Satsuko too. Satsuko who I thought I knew hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship had become a little bit happier, a little bit more charming. I wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely and projecting her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home, onto me? Yuka-chan told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So as my actions grew closer to Satoshi's, Satsuko was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. In other words, this Satsuko was the real Satsuko. Satsuko had been able to see her brother again and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I had been playing the role of her brother, I discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hojo. I was Keiichi Maebara, A totally different person. I couldn't become my brother. I couldn't come close. I could come close, but I would never really get there. It was vaguely, somehow, a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, but that would have to come off one day. And that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Satsuko's. A limited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. I shook my head firmly and drove up those pointless thoughts. What's the matter, Keiichi-san? Sorry, it's nothing. If it's nothing, then please don't act all strange like that. It makes me worried that you might have eaten something rotten. Right. Sorry, Satsuko. Nagging like this. Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my own face. Hey, Keiichi-Maibara. Why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, just think about it when that happens. There was one thing, however, that I could say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Satsuko's own smile would never wane. But as long as I stayed this way, this tranquility would never end. Satoshi would come back one day too. That might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not her real brother, so I can't become Satoshi, that was just an excuse. If I just didn't run away, Satsuko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. I don't know what happened to Satoshi, or what made him abandon Satsuko and run away, but just seeing Satsuko in such a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi, I would become a replacement brother. That's it. This is the kind of stir fry I was waiting for. It's great. It's absolutely great. The salt and pepper in the broth, man. I could eat an entire pot of this. Stop that, Keiichi-san. You're spilling food everywhere. The food isn't gonna run away. You don't need to eat it so fast. No, it will run away. The best and freshest flavors are running away from the moment the meal is completed. If you were to make 100 delicious things, then I would have a duty to taste every one of them. It's just good manners to do so. Your feelings are more than enough, so calm down and enjoy your food. You're right, I'm sorry. No insults here. I meekly scratched my head and put down my chopsticks and laughed along with her, like it was funny. I ended up doing most of the eating. Satsuko was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satsuko looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, we kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me really happy as well. The time passed, softly and gently. Before I would have gone back and forth hurling insults at Satsuko, in other words, we would have gotten into a fight right away. Hello Jay, thank you for the hip tap. Welcome to the stream. I'd never know I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. Got my food ready for cozy moments. Yay! I was still a bit happy about being discovered. I was still a bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satsuko. For example, I was eating the food that Satsuko made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. However, Satsuko would have definitely put some sort of trap into this. Satsuko would have definitely put some sort of trap into this. I think I ate too much. I gotta take a dump. Hey, Keiichi-san, it's bad manners to say such words during a meal. Then what should I say? I'm going to the bathroom? The toilet? The lavatory? Satsuko looks down, her face bright red, and pointed down to the hallway as if to say, just go already. Oops, my old habit seems to have come back. But, yeah. This wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes, everything is just natural. And while having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went to the bathroom. Tug. My foot caught on something string-like. Huh? He set a trap. A kettle? Wash tubs? Satsuko! She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. I can't relax for a minute around her. Still, it was kind of funny, and I didn't really feel like getting angry. Satsuko, laughing uproariously, came over. See? I knew you would fall for it sooner or later. Why, you little. I let my guard down for 1 second and this is what I get? I picked up all the wash tubs that had hit me in the hand and went to hit Satsuko with them, but then doubled over with the laughter that has been welling up inside me so I couldn't manage it. I wish things could go on forever like this. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hinamizawa or anything, but this was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much. It was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing the dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side, as we washed with the experienced Satsuko doing most of the work, as I threw in appropriate words to add to the conversation. The scene was so commonplace, and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I had felt this kind of warmth before too, in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel so nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey wait, Keiichi Meibara. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. I'd worked for it. I'd work hard for it. I'd endured much for it. So God, it's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep going, but can't you grant it? Oh? Is that the telephone? Who could it be at this hour? Oh, you're right. I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. I hurried to stand up and ran to the phone. Who could it be at a time like this? I did feel a little like the phone had interrupted my happy moment. But I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me. So no matter who it was on the other side. Hello? This is Meibara speaking. Hello? Keiichi? This is your mother. Oh, hello, Mom. What is it? It's pretty late. It was a little cold of me when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I couldn't help but give myself a dry smile. It sounds like you're doing just fine for yourself. I was worried that you couldn't make dinner and went to bed hungry. Nah, it worked out. Did you make dinner properly? What did you have tonight? It was vegetable stir-fry, rice and miso soup. I bought plus from the supermarket, plus a whole bunch of side dishes just for fun. Oh yeah, listen to this. I got the pork during the sale and got it half off. The thing's a housewife knows, right? Oh, and also, all of that was thanks to Satsuko, and not something I should be proud about. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. It seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood. I see. I'm so relieved you're doing just fine. Oh yes, another thing. Your dad and I finished up with our job. We'll think we'll be back tomorrow afternoon or evening. Oh, I see. You did well for 2 nights. You've been pulling all-nighters too. It was a lot of work, but we managed to fill the gap in your dad's mentor's event. Cool. That's good. Well done. Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing? I knew a little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily, and it was a little painful. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo, and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver, and Satsuko appeared, having finished cleaning her trap. At first, Satsuko was in a very good mood, but once she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. It seemed like she had gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about. Was that your parents, Keiichi-san? Yeah. Mom says they'll be back tomorrow. Oh, that's good then. I won't have to go to the trouble of making you dinner tomorrow. Now you can enjoy your meals with just your family. No, that's not it. When I think about the dull, plain dinner table coming back tomorrow, it's a little lonely. You sure do live in luxury. A family sitting around the dinner table is the most fun way to enjoy a meal of all. Her brother Satoshi, running away from home, came to mind immediately. But there was no gloom in the way she said it. It was only for 2 days, but they were very enjoyable dinners. Well then, next time I'll go to your house to visit. Huh? Satsuko momentarily made a happy smile, then a second later, it changed into an expression of surprise. My house is small and it's dirty, and the kitchen isn't as good as this one. Well, I don't mind. But, well, if you don't want me to, then I won't. Satsuko shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing denial. I gotta let you teach me a whole bunch of other stuff too. I finally managed to figure out how to use the rice cooker and how to cook miso soup after all. That's right, isn't it? Perhaps we should use this opportunity to have you learn more about cooking. It was so like Satsuko to take this chance to proclaim that this was all for my sake. But there's no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There's no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue our mild moments like this. Like yesterday, Satsuko told me she didn't need to be escorted home. Eureka-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. Everyone knew everyone else's face here in Inamizawa. So it wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night, but it was still It still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all alone. At the very least, that's what I thought of Satoko's older brother. I'll take you as far as the school at least. There are more lights over in that direction anyway. It's really fine, alright? If someone bad shows up, I will take them down with one finger. There was no point in pressing her any more on the subject, so I took a handful of Satoko's hair and rubbed her head vigorously. Come on, Satoko, don't complain so much. Your Nini will bring you part of the way there. That's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Satoko gave to her old brother. Nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, but I started to feel apologetic and a little ashamed. Nini. Huh? What did Satoko just say? Well... Kei-chan just seems like an older brother. That's what I said. That is what I said. It's quite right. You kinda seem alike, so I just... Satoko laughed awkwardly and turned red in the face. Of course, I was embarrassed when I saw her too. Because the fact that I was trying to act like her brother had gotten across. A warm feeling spread out from my chest. It was completely different from a romantic feeling, or any of those more impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet, warm and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. And I initially thought Rika-chan was being sly not coming today. But when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind thoughtfulness of her worrying about a good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood, and that she couldn't play the part of her brother herself. So then, now let's stop there, Keiichi Maebara. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Satoko to be happy. Satoko is acting as though her Nini running away from home didn't bother her at all. Even though that wasn't actually the case. She was very sad, and always waiting for him to come home. Because Satoko was a stable person when she was his sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Satoko still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile it away as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserved praise for being so close to each other as siblings. The role of brother should be played by her real Nini, by Satoshi, but unfortunately, he wasn't here. So since I'm here, I'll play the part. And not with a guilty conscience, but in a very natural way. Tell that to my sister. It really do be like that, huh? Because, was there something wrong with seeing Satoko smile so happily? What is it, Keiichi-san? You've been smirking for quite a while now. Is it weird for me to look so happy? It isn't weird or anything, but... The sound of the motor on her bike light was too loud, so I couldn't hear what Satoko said. Huh? What? What did you say? Nothing. You really are just like Nini, you know? Keiichi-san. Is that right? Of course. You're completely different from my real Nini. But like, there's things that you do the same. It's really a mystery. The same? Do you feel lonely when you remember Nini? Once I said that, I thought for a moment that was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Satsuko didn't seem to mind one bit. It's not that I'm lonely, since Keiichi-san is being my Nini for me right now. While I was flustered for a moment at her hitting the mark. Satsuko asked me a question in a calm voice. It was quiet, composed. It was very quiet, composed, an adult question. Was it Rika? It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely somehow. Didn't Rika ask you? To act like my Nini for me? Is that what you think? Please don't take offense. Rika is strangely considerate of me, but it really doesn't bother me that much. I could say for sure at least that was a lie. Yesterday and today, Satsuko had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings. And that was proof that she was lying about about it not getting to her. So I gave Satsuko a light poke in the head. You're thinking too much, dummy. I'm me, Keiichi Maebara. I'm not your Nini, not Satoshi Hojo. I know that. Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little lonesome. At this point, Satsuko herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about something Satsuko regretted. So in order to cut the conversation short, I grabbed Satsuko's head and pet her. Let's not talk about silly things like that. It's getting late, so get home, brush your teeth, and go to bed. And rinse your mouth before sleeping too. It'll keep you from getting a cold. You're one to talk, Nini. Be sure to brush your teeth, okay? Rinse your mouth and wash your hands. And get your books ready for tomorrow, and... I wonder what kind of siblings Satsuko and Satoshi were. I've never seen them together, but I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for in the way which they were close, it was probably quite like this. It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears. Satsuko's trap course, intermediate. I could see Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun walking over to the gym storehouse. He needed to get the bag of lime used to make the lines on the court for our next gym class. They were on duty today after all. But in that storehouse, a terrible trap was awaiting them. Being on this side of the trap for once is really thrilling. Ha ha ha. If you realize that is the true pleasure of setting traps, then you have the potential yourself, Keiichi-san. The two of them fumbled around in the gym storehouse's lock. Huh? What's this? Okumura-kun pointed at part of the door and started whispering to Tomita-kun. Then, realizing something, they both jumped away from the door. Oh, Satsuko, I think they found out. Did we mess up? I had calculated that they would notice the trap at the entrance. And of course, I calculated the action they will take now. According to Satsuko, after they noticed the suspicious trap on the door, they would go around to try and get in through the back window. And just as he prophesied, they went around to the back. And just as he prophesied, they climbed up, opened the window, and tried to sneak in. Wow, amazing. Everything exactly like he said. It got them. An explosion of pure white lime burst out of the window. After a few moments, the two of them managed to crawl away from the window, both of them completely white. This is the moment I live for. It tastes like honey. Still, that was some trap. You would have had to know everything. You would have had to know everything. Thanks for the hydrate. You would have had to know everything to set up something like that up. Where they put their hands, their legs, where they jump down. Listen carefully, Keiichi-san. The first step to making a trap is to watch and observe the victim. You must scrupulously predict their movement patterns, how they move at any given moment. If you do that, then you can achieve the greatest possible results with only the most minimal trap. Come to think of it, before Satsuko read the final move, at that final moment earlier, Mion had given her high praise, saying that she had the makings of a genius. It's about reading the opponent. So then, the traps you've caught me in before, they worked because you figured out everything I do? Yes. I can see right through all your actions, and that's how I set them up. So if one day you suddenly having different habits and behavior, I wouldn't be able to anymore. Bragging that she could anticipate everything I do. That's kind of mean. Okay then, let's play a game now. I want to test whether your predictions are accurate. Yes, that is fine with me. Keiichi-san, you are particularly easy to get a read on. I could do it before breakfast. We went back to the classroom. Satsuko tore off pieces of paper and wrote something on the back of them, marking 3 cards. Of course, I didn't know what she'd written. Please pick one of these cards, Keiichi-san. If you do not pick the one that says, "You're a loser," you will win. Great, you're on. The club was built up my sensitivity to this stuff, so I'll smash right through your predictions. Satsuko smirks and holds out the 3 cards. Set your mind to full power by calming it, Keiichi Maebara. Cool and collected is how you'll win. If I don't pick the losing one, I win. Which means if I do pick it, Satsuko will win. In other words, Satsuko wants me to pick the losing one. What would she do to make sure I picked the losing one? Could she even predict something like that? Statistically speaking, isn't there some rule that says I'm more likely to pick the one in the middle or the ones on either side? And then it hits me like a flash. This is what Mion would do. Now, which one will you pick? I've made my decision. And it is this one. Huh? What are you doing? I steal all 3 cards from Satsuko's hands. I predicted what Satsuko would do in advance. Satsuko wanted to make sure I picked the losing one, which meant that all 3 of these were losing ones. And that's how I knew. Allow me to look at all 3. And I flip all 3 word cards face up, and on each one there is a single word. You're a loser. What is this? You're a loser? Huh? It means just what it says. If you had only chosen one, you wouldn't have lost. What? Then you predicted that I'd draw all 3? I held my head in my hands and fainted as Satsuko revealed the might of her abilities. Her still laughter echoed throughout the classroom. And then there was a puff as line powder came down upon Satsuko's head. I looked to see Tomita-kun and Akuma-kun, all in white, dumping a whole bag of line powder on her, getting their revenge. Hojo, you're the only one who could have set up a trick like that. Well, excuse me. Do you happen to have any proof? And I'd like if you didn't call it something so inelegant, a trick. I would prefer you call it something more refined. A trap, please. Payback. Eesh. Keiichi-san, help me. Our underclassmen crashed around the classroom in furious combat, getting white lime everywhere. Hey, Satsuko. Why couldn't you see this coming exactly? At the time, I hadn't seen something coming till, though. The teacher coming to me afterward and giving us all a stern talking to. Okay. Okay, we'll read one more chapter, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we can read one more chapter. Oh, really? Your parents came home, huh? They smelled like energy drinks and their eyes were all bloodshot. They said they had a crazy amount of stuff to do and were up 2 whole nights in a row. Adults have it tough. Your dad is an artist, right? They really have it rough. Come to think of it, he was, wasn't he? I'd very much like to see what kind of things he draws sometime. An artist, huh? I had seen a number of watercolor and acrylic paintings on display, but he had to have been doing some other job too. Just what did Dad do exactly? He didn't let anyone into his workshop after all. And I wanted to sneak a peek one day. So the house was empty for 2 days after all that? Ooh. That didn't leave much time. So, Kei-chan, did you manage to go after the character who was in your heart? The absence of parents is a must-have for eroge protagonists. He built up relationship points and raised all the right flags. I have no idea what any of you are talking about. That means you don't need to cook for yourself anymore, Katie-kun. What did you make last night? In the end, What is the sign of what protag? An eroge protagonist? Honestly. But that's true in like those types of games that the parents are never home. And things got a little crazy. Not that I would know. Not that I would know. I don't play any of the naughty visual novels. It's not like I would know. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. In the end, I didn't make a single thing myself. I sliced dinner while it was vegetable stir fry. Oh no, eroge means erotic game. Get it? 'Cause erotic, gay, game, eroge. Yeah, it's the spicy visual novels, you know. Kei-chan, I've heard of H games, but not like that. Oh, I believe that's how they're called in Japan. They're usually referred to as ero games. Yeah. Well, Kei-chan, you can make a little bit of real cooking now, huh? You can make vegetable stir fry? Did it come out good? Did it? Rena-san, you're being unpleasant. Why are you clinging to me? A delicious meal and friendly dishwashing together. I failed as a weeb. No. Well, is that really a failure? That's probably a failure you could be proud about. A delicious meal, a friendly. Yeah. A delicious meal, a friendly washing, and a friendly dishwashing together. Oh, how nice, how nice. Hey, I said you're being unpleasant. Well, what are you talking about? Ian, utterly confused, asked me for clarification, and I just barely, albeit transparently, averted my eyes. Right. Does anyone have any plans for this afternoon? You don't, do you? Today was Saturday. The beautiful day on which we were liberated from the confines of school in the afternoon. Actually, school in Hinamizawa had slightly different Saturdays than those in the city. There were a lot of students who brought a bento, ate it at lunch, and went to play in the school or around the schoolyard. You could say that the entire school turned into a children's playground. There were mountains behind the school, and if you went down that way, you'd find mountain streams. You could avoid the strong sunlight and make conversation in the classroom if you wanted to too. You could also play hide and seek in the construction pipes. Of course, you were free to go home as well. For some of the kids who went home and helped in the field or tended to stores. If Mion was bringing up the afternoon like this, then it must have been for some crazy club event. However, sadly, I had something I needed to do before taking part in whatever it was. You have work? That's unlucky. I wonder what kind of work it is. Maybe helping his father with his artwork job? Or being a model for his father's art? A model? A nude one? I looked into Rena's eyes and saw myself completely naked in a questionable pose with a single rose in my mouth. No. I wouldn't do that for a million yen. To get rid of Rena's delusion, I grabbed her head and swung it from side to side. Oh, stop. Sorry. Leaving your fanciful delusions aside, I have something I have to do really quick during lunch. I'm okay to meet up with you after I'm done, though. Working during lunch? I see. That sounds kinda cool, actually. What could it be? Are you having a banquet with VIP experts? Like a business lunch? Ugh. This is truly sad, but you're right. What? Everyone shouts wildly, surprised. It was true. Today I'd be on the job with my family. For my dad's job, he was having about 10 people from the publishing agency over for a house party. He called the people from work for a party the day after having stayed up 2 nights in a row. I'm amazed at their vitality. Adults have it pretty rough. Of course, it would be incredibly uncomfortable for me. It'd be really tired to have to force myself to smile at old dudes I didn't know. But they were my dad's important business connections, so offending them would be bad. Well, with all that said, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable for me today, starting at lunch. Oh well, what an intelligent child. This is my son, Keiichi. Keiichi, this is Blank Sand from Blank. And this person here is Blank Sand, the Blank manager. Say your hellos. Hello, my name is Keiichi. I appreciate all you've done for my father. Keiichi, do you draw pictures like your father does? I'd very much like to see them. My dad had such a brazen occupation, that of an artist. Although, I didn't really know what kind of things he creates. I don't really care. I don't want to see anyway. Matt's so tight-fisted about it, but he doesn't show them to me very often anyway. I'm not a kid anymore, so I wouldn't care at all. If there are pictures of naked ladies or anything. If you study under your father as an apprentice, you'd be able to become a great artist like him too. Excuse me? This is just between you and me, but... is my dad really that great of an artist? I readied myself and whispered my question. It might have seemed odd for his son to be asking this, but... when I did, he gave me this really strange grin and tightly clamped down onto my shoulders. Yes! He's truly a fantastic artist. Is that so? He draws big titty anime women. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm glad to hear it. There are no purchase restrictions. He does fan service. And he always answers the letters he gets. Just fan service. Does he? He does draw big titty anime women. Plot twist. Keiichi's dad is a hentai artist. He has an inquisitive mind, always on the prowl for what the world needs. Taking off your socks? Absolutely not. And that goes for glasses and school uniforms too. Big titty doesn't mean hentai, it could just be in good taste. That is true, that is true. Meibara-sensei understands these things perfectly. Every event sees him along the wall with a huge lineup. I'm sorry, but his pictures, they're not ones you hang on the wall? Not at all. In the beginning, everyone starts in the islands, and then to their corners, and finally climbing up to the corners of the larger paths. The final destination is the famous wall. You too. Please become a great artist who can display his works in unison with Meibara-sensei. I'll cheer you on. It's fine to have a lot of passion for the things you like, but I didn't get it, but it seems like the world of art ran pretty deep. It was pretty much a deeper world than I could have imagined. I decided to leave it at that. Then I realized my mom was calling me from the other side of the room. Keiichi, it's the phone. It's a friend of yours. A lucky break. Maybe I could get out of this uncomfortable business party by using a friend's phone call as an excuse. I scampered over to the front door and snatched the receiver from my mom. My mom had left there. Hello? It's me. Hello, me. That's not how you answer the phone, Keiichi-san. I implore you to learn how to use your words more properly. I was on the opinion that the person speaking to me had a far stranger way of talking. Oh, it's Sataka. It's unusual for you to call my house. This isn't the time for pleasantries. Keiichi-san, when more are you going to be able to come? Sorry. It looks like this is going a bit long. I can't get them to let me go. I want to do things with the club now, but that's not it, Keiichi-san. It wasn't about the club today. It's a real battle. Satsuko's voice was different from normal. I could feel the urgency in it drifting through the phone. A real battle? That doesn't sound good. What's the situation? I will explain the particulars when we meet. Anyway, this is a terrible crisis. At this rate, we're going to lose. What on earth was going on? Could it have been a fight? I didn't know who they were, but laying a hand on someone from Hinamizawa was absolutely a terrible idea. Right? Got it. I'll come and reinforce you right away. Where are you at? We're on the Okinomiya Elementary School campus. There are signs at the station, so you should be able to figure it out. Anyway, we're in a huge hurry. The school campus. The situation could have a lot of people involved. Could it have turned into an all-out brawl? Who was the enemy here anyway? Oh, I'm on fire. Got it. I'll be there soon. Should I bring a weapon with me? Like a metal base bat or something? You have a metal bat? That would be fantastic. We will wait for you there. The call cut off abruptly. I need to hurry. Oh, Keiichi, I was looking for you. Blank Sand here from Blank was looking for a photocopy. Now's not the time. Don't we have a bat? A metal bat. If not, then anything long will do. If anything long will do, then my golf clubs are in the storage room. It didn't have the same kind of impact, but a golf club was splendid. It was a splendid weapon too. It was lighter than a baseball bat, and maybe easier for me to use. Thanks. I'm borrowing one. I really need to go see my friends for something. It's urgent. Sorry. Well, Keiichi, wait a minute. I grabbed the golf club, jumped on my bike, and headed straight for town. Wait for me, Satsuko. I'll be right there. Just hold out until then. I didn't actually know where Okinomiya Elementary School was exactly, but Satsuko's phone call seemed to demand urgency, so I rushed out without asking her about how to get there. But if I went to the station, there would be signs at least. I feel like that's what she said. I'd heard the jingling of a bicycle bell from behind me. Hello there. Hey, Rika-chan. Keiichi, you came quickly. You put the pedal to the metal. Damn. This is not the time to be out of breath. I need to hurry. Sorry, but where is Okinomiya Elementary? I'll show you the way. Come along with me. Rika-chan rode off on her bike. I followed her. Satsuko suddenly called me out here, but what on earth was going on anyway? At first, we had the advantage. However, I called in a helper. It's bad manners. A helper? Look, cowards, calling for reinforcements. The minute they realized they'd lose. They're taking everyone out one by one. We can't put a dent in them. Well, sounds like they were pretty strong. Anyway, I'll ask about it later. We don't have time, right? Please hurry. Leave it to me. With Rika-chan leading the way, we headed straight for the elementary school grounds. I asked Rika something during that time. It seemed that all of the club members besides me were part of this fight. Damn. So what Mion was trying to tell everyone... So was Mion trying to tell everyone that this would happen? If I had known that, I would have just ditched my family job. But it was too late for regrets. According to Rika-chan, we had a one-sided advantage at the start, but our enemy foes had brought in a powerful ally. The club members put up a resistance and went against them one by one, but apparently they couldn't stand up to them. The combined efforts of the whole club couldn't win? Just what kind of monster was this guy? He's amazing. The enemy is orthodox. So they weren't using thuggish brawling tactics, but had actually studied karate or something? Is that what she meant? Keiichi is our last ray of hope now. Okinomiya Elementaries came into view. I could hear many voices raising hell over there. Oh, Mion, Rena, Satsuko. I'll be there soon. I'll crush them all at once. There were a lot of bicycles left out in front of the school. I left mine there next to them in the same way. I could tell there were a lot of people flooding the campus. Were the two armies in the midst of a huge no hands barred brawl? I took my golf club in hand. Whoosh, I swung it. I felt the sensation of it sticking firmly to my palm. Great. The feedback wasn't bad. I'm gonna go all out with this thing. I dashed at a brinklet speed to the school gate, swinging it around. Come with me, Rika-chan. I'll show you what the almighty Medi warrior Keiichi Maibara can really do. Wow. Keiichi, you're so reliable. You're going to rampage with the golf club. Rika-chan applauded me, though a little dryly. Lauding my valiance. The manly Keiichi Maibara put it behind him and headed for the place where he may die. But Keiichi, why did you bring a golf club today? I had no choice. At first I figured a baseball bat would have been good, but we didn't have one at the house. A golf club was far better than going barehanded, so I brought one. How very excellent. I will give you a pat on the head. I can't wait to see your golf club rampage. Despite the emergency situation, Rika-chan reached up and stroked me on the head. Hey, this is no time for jokes. Huh? Crack. Just then, an extremely loud metallic sound rung out, and I heard many people cheering. Left. Ugh, we missed. Run! You can get to second base, go. Center, calm down. Send it to third. The center fielder caught the ball, and after a brief pause, sent it flying to third base. If he had pitched it wildly, it might get there. He gave up on second and threw it to third with time to spare. The instructions from the bench, they were solid. Wait, what? Oh, Keiichi-kun's here. Satoko-chan, Keiichi-kun's here. You're late. Loafing around is only okay when you do it at the bread shop. Oh, who's this guy? This Maibara-kun kid, will he really save us? We're up against the ace of Oshima, left arm Kameda-kun. He can beat a Kyoshin class pitcher, he must be a god. It's okay. I'm sure that Keiichi-kun can turn the tables. He's a really dependable person. Murmur. What? He's the pitch hitter we brought in to take out left arm Kameda with his bullet fastball? The one who had one no hit, no run game after another during the regional qualifiers, the undefeated demon pitcher of Oshima. The super high school level pitcher who had already been marked by professional scouts. He's going to win against him? Some greenhorn pitcher like that is no match for Keiichi-san. He'll send his throws all the way to the back screen for an easy victory. Murmur. There was a slugger like that in this prefecture? I had no idea. He must have gone under the radar. Hey, Blink-san from Hashin stood up. Hey, take a picture. His full name is Keiichi Maibara. Look him up in the database and send his history to our office. Which one is Keiichi Maibara? Pictures. A whole lot of sports journalists led by Satsuko grabbed their cameras tightly and searched for the rumored Keiichi Maibara. As for me, I was so dazed that was what was happening, and I was frozen in place with my golf club in midair. Keiichi-san, over here. Eh? The camera people stared at me through their viewfinders. Just like I had, they turned to stone. In the hands of their gallant pitch hitter, Keiichi Maibara was a golf club. Nobody could seem to understand why I was holding something like this. At this point, neither did I. Cheep. A cold, greasy sweat dripped from me. The first one to break the ordinarily awkward silence was Rena. Keiichi-kun? Yeah? May we ask you a question? Please. Please don't. Psychic waves of my entry flowed out of my face, along with my sweat. It somehow seemed to reach the two of them. The deathly required reporters all parted, as Moses once parted the sea. But Moses probably didn't go through the parted seas this quietly. If we're playing baseball, then tell me that from the start. What? Did I not say that? I mean, I told you to come to the campus with a baseball bat. What else could you have thought it was? And what manner of thinking caused you to mistakenly bring a golf club here instead? I think Keiichi-kun must have done it on purpose to lighten our moods and get us pumped, I think. Rena smiled bitterly and covered for me with all her might. Please believe her, everyone. I'm begging you. Keiichi loves golf. Pet. Rika-san started petting my head, a broad grin on her face all the while. I pushed her hand away, grabbed her from behind her suspenders, and pulled her up like a kitten. Meep. Rika-chan, why didn't you tell me this was a baseball game when we met at the station? I wouldn't have had to suffer such a disgrace. Nipa. Rika's smile was like the sun, so incredibly innocent. Ugh, she's growing. When I saw Rika-chan's radiant smile, I couldn't help but feel like I could forgive everything she did. However, if Rika-san thought I actually would, then she had another thing coming. Anyway, this is your punishment, Rena. Meep. Rika-chan still plucked up in my hand. I offered her to Rena. That's right. The kittenified Rika-chan sent Rena's voltage into overcharge. Oh, I'll take her. Rena will take her. Ah, so cute. Hop, spinny. Rena stuck out her tongue like a chameleon and preyed upon Rena while spinning her around. Rika-chan's so cute. Rika-chan's so cute. Ah, meep. Rena held her as tight as a vice grip. Cute, yeah. Rena held her tight as a vice and began to get her fill of rubbing her cheek into Rika-chan's. Their cheeks rubbed together tightly. Rika-chan's face. It looked like it was being crushed by Rena's. I do not know what has happened, but it looks like Rika has gotten her just desserts. Yeah. I recently found out that Rika-chan is not only cute. Ah, I got Keiichi-kun's permission. I'm gonna take you home. Meep. For the moment, I'll just give her a 3-minute timeout. By the way, Satsuko, that urgent call was for a baseball game? Yes, that's correct. You said you had a house party with your family. I suppose it was wrong to ask, but at times of trouble like these, you obviously must prioritize friends over family. I felt that's what I was supposed to be saying, not you. Well, it was just a business party for my dad, I guess. I honestly felt glad to be called out here. So what's the crisis situation look like? 6-7? Which means our team is losing, huh? 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th? What the heck? This game is almost about to end. We would have had a little more time if you had gotten here sooner. Do you have any idea how difficult it was to hold out for this long? Alright, I'm sorry. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm gonna be a pitch hitter? Just leave it to me. I may not look like it, but I went to the batting cages a lot before I moved here. My dad went there for fun, and I used to go with him pretty often. I'm pretty confident about just hitting the bat with the ball, but... Vroom. A tremendous sound rung out, the likes of which I've never heard before. The catcher's mitt trembled, sending up a light cloud of dust, telling me the tremendous sound that came from the ball. Hey, now wait a second. What's up with that crazy fastball anyway? Surprised? Yeah. That's a bona fide Koshin level pitcher. You don't know about left arm Kaimeda-kun, the ace of Oshima? Sorry, I can't say I do. Wait, Mion. What happened to you? Mion showed up, and to my surprise, she was wrapped up in bandages. Just what on earth happened? Well, you came late, so I guess we need to explain from the beginning. Oh, Done with Rika-chan? Yep. I had a lot of fun, and she's so cute. She's so soft and fluffy and squishy. I could eat her. I could just eat her cheeks 3 meals a day. Meep, I can't get married anymore. I wonder how Rika-chan's cheeks taste if we could eat them 3 times a day. I must have flipped my own delusion switch, but I put a stop to it using logic. I was an adult. Okay, explain away. How did things get this screwed up enough that a Koshin relief pitcher ended up in a baseball game for fun? Everyone exchanged glasses. Then, Brenda spoke for all of them. At first, well, it was just a normal baseball game. It's nothing. It's nothing much, just a little grudge match between the Hinamizawa fighters and the Okinomiya Titans. We were just having a grand old time, really, nothing much. Well, in simpler terms, it was an intramural match. A match to settle the grudge between Hinamizawa and Okinomiya. We say grudge, but it's all pretty peaceful and friendly. So why is our whole club a part of it? Some of you are wearing uniforms and some aren't. Last I checked, we weren't the school baseball team. Well, it was pretty irresponsible. They say they happen to have some players who couldn't make it today. They're pretty down in the dumps, so we ended up getting involved post-haste. I see. So if there weren't enough members, anyone could come to the rescue, whether boy or girl, and no matter what grade they were in. That jumbled together feeling was the hallmark of our school. But Rika-chan told me we were crushing them at the beginning. Mi is an amazing batter. She was hitting some runs left and right. Mion proudly stuck out her chest. Doing so seemed to hurt her somehow, and she groaned pathetically. Yes, every time Mion-san went up to bat, he hit a home run and brought everyone on bases in. Unlike Satsuko, she can actually hit the ball. Rika. Meep. Alright, I think I got the gist of it. So you were having a pretty easy game until that Koshin pitcher showed up. That's right. It was was all us at the beginning. Maybe we didn't get all that many points, but we were always getting people on the bases. And Kameda-kun from Oshima just happened to show up to watch the game today. Oshima was apparently a fairly well-known school in our prefecture that frequently sent people to Koshien. And this man was the ace of their baseball team. Kameda seemed to be quite still. Now that I thought about it, it was certainly strange to see a cameraman with journalists armbands here to watch a casual baseball game out in the sticks like this. I heard that when Kameda was little, he was on the Okinomiya Titans. You figured it out, right? His old team was losing, so he jumped in as relief pitcher and took the mound. Now it's just terrible. You can't even hit any foul balls, much less get anyone on base. But still, a Koshien pitcher barging in, it's unfair. We're just playing for fun. All the boys wearing the Hinamizawa Fighters uniform were hanging their heads in disappointment. I knew almost all of their faces. Wasn't everyone here a classmate? Oh, I see. We're the only school in Hinamizawa after all. Oh, it's Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun. You're on the baseball team too? Meibara-san. His uniform was brand new, and not very dirty, fresh off the press. I could see handmade banners with their names written on them in grandstands. I see, their families came to root for them in their debut game today. Okumura said that he got his bat today as a present from his dad. The brand new bat sparkled. With that kind of present, a man just has to perform well. He practiced swinging a whole lot just for today. Well, he went too far and tore the skin off his hand. See, unfortunately. His torn hand looked like it hurt, but from that injury, you could see his backbone. I get it, guys. You wanted to make your big moment a good one. Savior of the Okinomiya Titans could hear the sounds of this Komeda's tremendous fastball practice. This was no joke. He was definitely on a level far above high school kids. But at his level, he certainly should have been interrupting a grass lot game grudge match, though it may have been. He should have understood how much better he was too. This guy... was he being serious against opponents like these? Yep. Rena thinks it's immature. Rena's eyes grew harsh. It took a lot to get Rena mad. As for Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun, they were sniffling, fighting back tears. Damn, that guy was like, I'm going to... He really said, fuck them kids. I'm gonna demolish them in this little game of baseball. Fuck them kids. I don't care. Such an asshole. We heard another tremendous noise from the mitt. I turned around and this left arm Kameda-kun guy was looking at us and grinning boldly. That'll teach them a lesson. Exactly. They need to, it'll instill in them the drive to be better. This awful humiliation, they'll remember it. Anyway, that's how it is. Now that it's come to this, we have no choice. We have to engage in a real battle. Yeah, it looks like we have to get serious. Yep, and then we tried getting serious, but then Mi-chan went out with a bang. Mion, embarrassed, scratched her head with the moment doubled over in pain. Went out with a bang, but how on earth did she end up getting injured like this? It would take a really long time to explain. The one thing I can say is that she came up empty even though she pushed herself that hard. I risked my life and I couldn't even get 1 point. Our secret plan did nothing, and now we're very sad. I couldn't even imagine what sort of secret plan it was, but it must have been crazy enough to get her that badly hurt. Still though, we're still playing baseball thanks to you failing, right? Yep. Maybe Mi-chan's last resort wasn't very baseball-like, I think. We have no other recourse now, do we? It means that we need to settle the score front and center in a manner befitting a baseball game. That's right. We have to settle it like baseball. I think normal people would have given up and gone for a frontal attack. But as a member of our club, I wasn't about to accept that so easily. Like baseball? I don't know. If we look at it like a baseball game, then we can't be picky, can we? This is our club's creed after all. That's correct. We can't be picky. That's the virtue of our club. Rena and Satsuko laughed to each other delightfully. It wasn't really a virtue we could brag about, but the best thing about our club is that we never rolled over and gave up. But the cameras are all watching very closely, so it will be hard to cheat. Rika-chan spread her arms wide, indicating the array of reporters in the bleachers. She was right. With all those cameramans watching us through those cameras with giant telephoto lenses, foul play would be fairly tough. That's right. That's the bottleneck. Everyone's eyes are on us, so we can't be too bold. Ow. I never did think Mi-chan's ways were very ladylike, though. Satsuko and Rika-chan both nodded behind Rena. Now let's get down to business. Our team is down 1 run now. Plus, it's the bottom of the 9th, and we already have 2 outs. If this old man's plan had gone better, we'd have our bases loaded right about now. There's no point in lamenting a failed plan. Our club never loses heart, and always goes right on to the next one. Satsuko said eagerly, trying to cheer up the downcast Mion, whose secret plan had failed. It may have failed, but Satsuko still seemed to have another. Satsuko, you seem pretty cheerful, which means you have something up your sleeve, eh? Keiichi-kun, who do you think she is? It's Satsuko-chan, you know. Satsuko Hojo-chan. That's right. We called her Trap Master Satsuko, didn't we? She could ensnare her opponent at the perfect moment, the very end. Everyone in our club knew that we could never let our guards down against Satsuko. I may have taught her, but she's grown up a lot and doesn't seem to want to stop. Sometimes I'm even astonished at how she overcomes such slim margins. By the way, Mi bats next, then Satsuko. We're losing by 1 point, so if you could get the next runner on a base, and then the runner after that hit a big one and end the match. And that final batter was Satsuko. See? You feel like we can win now, right? I can't imagine what she's got set up, but it has to be some kind of trap for sure. If I were the opposing pitcher, I'd definitely walk her. There's no way Satsuko was going to hit a home run, even in my dreams. But if she was going to stand in the batter's box normally without any kind of plan, I can't think of anything else she could do. And the fact you called me here, I see. I think I know where this is going. It meant I was a necessary piece of Satsuko's trap. I'm excited. I wonder what Satsuko will do. I can't wait to see Satsuko's walk-off home run either. Kei-chan is indispensable for this. Understand? This is our last chance at creating an upset. We absolutely cannot fail. Right. That much I know for sure. Just watch. Satsuko and I will give you front row seats to the greatest turnaround victory of all time. Then I'll explain your instructions, KT-san. Lend me your ear for a moment. Satsuko and I huddled up in a hidden place and held a briefing that anyone watching could tell was suspicious. I wonder what Maibara-san and Hojo were thinking about. I pray it's not some crazy trick like the one the president used. Our teammates Tomitake and Okumura-kun seemed very nervous. Rena gave them a wide smile, trying to dispel their anxiety. It'll be okay, everyone. Satsuko-chan and Keiichi-kun will be able to pull this off for us. But Ryugu-san, we're up against a Koshin pitcher. I don't know if Satsuko's traps will be much good. Now everyone be silent and watch. We're gonna get to see an interesting game. Mion, who knew everything about to transpire, looked like she was having a hard time stifling the laughter bubbling up within her. She was so terrifying as an enemy, but so reliable as an ally. Mion waved her hands at the umpire. You got a pitch hitter. I'm Mion Sonosaki, and switching out with Keiichi Maibara. You sure he'll be alright? The umpire turned an uneasy gaze at the pitch hitter, who jumped in with a golf club. Really, EP? Yeah? And go to sleep. Don't underestimate Keiichi-kun now. The members of our clubs were the only ones grinning with wholehearted confidence. Yeah, I think... Oh man, I didn't think of... I am pretty tired too, so I think I will end the stream for now. Yeah, there is... Okay. Hi, end of stream spiel. In my little tired brain. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I had a lot of fun. I hope I helped you all relax and get comfy and maybe fall asleep. I won't be online tomorrow. But yeah. Good night. the new Monster Hunter beta with Teddy on Friday. Maybe we'll see. Anyway, good night, everyone.